moment all the pain was washed away. I shine so bright now, and I want everyone to know. You've got this living deep inside you too, and it's so easy just to feel brand new. Commit surrender to your divinity within. And then you'll see a better way. Things you don't need will fall away. Your eyes will open and you'll say, I am divine. I am divine. It's always been there. It will never go away. I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine. It's always been there, it will never go away. I am divine.
Wait, is this? Are we streaming from the camera or from here?
Camera.
Okay. Is there any way?
We're using this mic.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay. We do.
Vocalize.
No problem. No problemo. Welcome, everyone. They can hear us.
Yeah, that's better. Perfect. Can you guys hear us? We're not using our mics. We don't know where the mics went. They just magically disappeared. Okay, cool. We'll have to vocalize a little bit.
Yeah,
but
no problem.
no problem.
Yeah. So welcome. Welcome, everyone. Whoever's here. It's a little bit different today with the technology.
Yeah, it seems like every day there's some little thing here or there.
Yeah.
Some glitch. The ego really doesn't want us to be on here. But we're gonna be on here anyway.
Yeah.
No excuses.
Yeah, for sure. Yes. So happy Sunday for those local, and Saturday for those that aren't. So anyway,
I'm surprised you know the day. Because
I
I don't even. I was like, what's today?
well, only because I had to drive somebody to the bus depot. So I knew what
day it was. Okay,
but
gotcha.
usually, I have to look at my phone to find out what day it is. No idea. None whatsoever. Oh, I know what it was. On my way back from the bus depot, I was going to drop into the gym. I walked in and it wasn't open because it's Sunday. That's how I found it. Yeah.
But just you guys are having a great Saturday evening or Sunday rising.
Yeah. Anyway, every day is an amazingly interesting day. Fraught with many different ebbs and woes, just ups and downs, and interesting what the universe throws at us. Yesterday it threw 2 curveballs at me. One of them was the best slider I ever threw. And the other one went into the dirt. For those of you who know anything about baseball. Yeah. So yes, well, I have been working on, well, I'm always working on something I'm becoming aware of something most times, and the last week hasn't been any different. It was something absolutely amazing that was happening. And most of this, like there's no way I can look up a book or phone somebody or any of that. It's like no one even knows what I'm talking about. And anyway, I had a call yesterday. I was working on a piece. And it takes me longer to work on me than it does to say work on Sam. And so I have to figure this out. I have to figure out what it is, then come back inside, process, go back out, figure it out. Like, so it's an extra step when I'm doing it on me. And no, I'm not the teacher that knows all the answers. I'm someone that's keeps being downloaded information, and I figure it out and process it and put it into 3D language so that others may have some idea of what's going on. And so I'll say the one gigantic highlight. So no, there's up until yesterday afternoon, no one knows anything about what it is I'm doing. And this one person called me, client, and was in, falling to pieces, and pulled it all apart. And lo and behold, it was what was going on for him is he needed what it was that I was working on. And it was literally at the level of 1,000. That's what it was. Actually, higher than that. And I got to work on somebody to take them there to see what it looked like. And it was staggering, like staggering, because when you get so high, there is no language. There's no English language or any other language that it's like, yeah, it's a completely different world altogether. And he's the first one. And it was like, oh my God, like you should have seen the look on his face. You should have heard his voice. You should have heard how he was describing how dramatically different, absolutely dramatically different. Everything became like, oh, just like that. And it's like, okay, so now I got someone at this level with me, which was pretty neat, And we'll find out if that person's on the call, and we'll see. So anyway, that was the exciting part. On the other part, there was a relationship thing that was going on that was in the category of drama, and it's like I'm not into drama at all. And anyway, so that was the other side of the coin. So it was an interesting day, to say the least. So the extreme low and the extreme high, all within 2 or 3 hours. And so anyway, it's quite interesting how the universe has always been showing me through everyday events these pieces that I need to work on or eliminate or conquer or be aware of, or whatever. And that's how it does it. So anyway, how we doing here? Well, we're on task. So anyway, it was quite the interesting day. Very, very interesting. And especially that new piece that I got to that I got to not only see out here rather than in here, and then see it on someone else instantly. And I was in tears watching the transformation of this sentient being. And to think that like we're literally operating at 1,000. It's like it's pretty amazing actually. So
Very cool. Yes. Well, I would love to hear. Like, I'm like sitting here just waiting. Like, what do you just spill the beans? Or
I'm not sure. These two pieces of Jamie what usually happens is I'll usually work with Jamie, and the next thing I know, he's telling the world, and I'm shut up, Jamie.
Yes. Jamie's not the person to tell secrets, which is a good thing. And it's
I have a cautiousness, even saying, yeah, I was working at 1,000 with someone yesterday and took them to 1,000 yesterday. That's that in and of itself is quite the statement,
yeah,
to say the least. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I was looking through our past like lives and stuff, and I've been having like so many people like talking about like just yesterday. I was like one of my old friends. He's like, "Hey, by the way, I just want you to know that you're in a cult." I'm like, thanks for letting me know. Like, he's like, "Yeah, because if Don doesn't want to tell you the process, that's how you know you're in a cult and blah 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 blah. Like the only person that can save you is Jesus." And like, dude, he's like, "Oh, you say you're working against the ego, but you're using the ego, blah 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 blah." I'm like, okay, buddy, thank you, thanks for your input. Like, okay, like. Yes, no one was saying anything whenever I was dealing with all of my addictions and all my toxic programs, but now
it's okay. That was okay.
Oh, that was great. that was completely fine. But now
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Like, oh, you want 4 women? Great. You want to smoke weed? Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, but no, you want to now you want to talk about the ego programs and how we can literally help people become free. Now I have a huge issue with that. Ego. Awesome. Yeah. So, Arcadia, you don't hear anything, or everyone says loud and clear. Gilbert, you look so much taller today. Yeah, I usually drop the chair down a little bit so that way I'm not taller than Don.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this one. Yeah, there. How's that? That's better. That's better.
Paul says, like, apparently, according to some, we are involved in a scam.
Yeah.
Such a huge scam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine being able to find your light and stay in it. Sounds like a scam to me.
Yeah, especially since we haven't been charged a dime for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
It's a scam, right?
Yeah. Take you to the cleaners. Yeah. Yeah. So
but yeah, today's obviously another beautiful day. But we wanna I love hearing you guys' stories and updates. I know we obviously hear them on like we get to read them. To Gilbert, stop being such divine hustlers. The other day, it's Gilbert's comment, Daddy. How funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love hearing you guys' stories. So, and it always like kind of just brings some kind of topic. Like yesterday, we got to work with Paul, and I think it was yesterday, right? Where we got to work with Paul, and or you got to work with Paul, and then the whole thing unraveled.
Hi folks. I don't want to I don't want to take or upstage anybody here. If anybody wants to speak before me, but I just wanted to give you an update, Don, on my conversations with my son Adam.
Oh yes, man.
So, yeah, so So we had a marvelous day, Dawn and I, yesterday. Went into town, had
Yeah.
a few errands to do. Actually,
Yeah.
one of the things we did, and I'll show you the result of that. I'm going to put the video on. I actually got video now.
Okay.
There we go. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, there we are. Okay,
Hello, yes.
so
Yeah.
so anyhow, we went into town. We had a few things to get, and one of them was a proper power cord for this computer. And
Yeah.
not knowing the terrain and where to get it, I automatically went to a store that we had, crossed paths with many times. And for whatever reason, I said, okay, that store has it. And so we get in there, and sure enough, it had the proper cord with the proper electrical connection for this country, and it actually works. So now we've got that, so we can charge up our computer when we need it. So that was number one. Number two, I went into the Vodafone office to get more gigabytes, and sure enough, they had a new program. They had a beautiful package to get 30 unlimited gigabyte package they just introduced. So great, that's going to solve that problem, because I was always running back and forth to upgrade my gigabyte card. So then we went to have a cup of tea, and that's when I opened the phone up, and I said to Don, I said, I'm going to see if I can Zoom call Adam. Let's do it. So we sat down, and we were a lovely day, sun shining, and we're outside, and a lot of activity, people out having their coffees and just enjoying the sun. And so got a hold of Adam on the Zoom call, which I thought, I didn't know he was going to do that. He's not one to just show himself up and say, "Oh, here I am."
Right.
He's not usually that easy to access. So and he was. So we started having our conversation, and just to give you a background to this, he and many others do not know that we're in Greece. No idea. So I sprung it on him, and I said, and he was very, very cordial. I was definitely in my divinity there, because I was already prepped up, and I'm ready to have this conversation. And anyhow, he was so surprised, and it was like, "You're in Greece? What are you doing there?" So we we had this chat, and he updated us on a little bit on our grandkids, and we had a good conversation about where he's at, and it was just like a normal phone call. No pointing fingers, nothing like that. No, what did you do? Why didn't you tell me? Where have you been? All that stuff. None of that. And so it lasted almost a good half hour. So yeah, it was a great call. And so that was our morning. And once I did that, I just had this tremendous release, feeling like, okay, you know what? We broke the ice. He's actually talking to us. So good move. And we've got a kind of an okay to call in when they.
More than a good move, bud. That's more than
Yeah.
good. Okay, that's a
Yeah.
very limiting word for you, what you did to break that ice between you and your son.
And we got it. That's true, Don. And yeah, and I felt it. I felt it very strongly. But also, we got an okay to contact our grandkids when they're around there. So that was even better. And I think Donna
Yeah.
was totally. I mean, we were now. Donna was very quiet during the whole thing, and but that was okay. She still was doing a little. I don't want to talk to her, but if she wants, she can talk to her for herself. But she was doing some processing, so I just went along with it. So and the day didn't end there. I had a Superman experience. So
Did you now?
I did,
Huh.
yeah, I really did. It was it was hilarious. Well, it wasn't hilarious. We got a phone call from our lady we've hired to clean up one of the apartments that we have. And so she called, surprise call, and she said, "Geez, I've been so dizzy, I can't move. I fell off the step ladder, and I think I need to go to the hospital." So this was the call we got. So So immediately it was almost like I donned my cape, changed into my clothes. Donna came and off we took off in the car because we were a little bit on the other side of the island. So there we are. Here we go. We're coming. Don't worry, we're gonna get there. And so that's sort of what's going through my mind. I said, "Oh, great, I'm on call." So I like being on call. So anyway, we arrived and she was sitting at the step at the bottom because it's a three level building with three separate apartments. Anyway, she was at the bottom and waiting for us to pick her up, and she was very just distraught and anyway upset that she had to call us to go out of our way. And of course, we said, "Are you kidding? You're number one. We're looking after you." So anyway, we drove her to the hospital. The long story short is she basically had a panic attack and
Right.
thought that her heart was going out on her. So it was very so it was a good ending, and then we actually kept going back, and we kept going back, and then we actually drove her home to where she lives, and she was good, and she was fine, everything was good. So good ending to that, and so anyway, I wanted to share that because that was so in tune with everything we've been talking about. I said, "Oh God, here we are."
And cleaning up, talking about and cleaning up.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's my share today for that.
Well, first of all, it's amazing, given the level of resistance you had to picking up the phone to call your son Adam, and how that all was all created in your head about the worst case scenario, and not one ounce of it happened.
Yeah.
And that's how the ego works. And when we're in our
Yeah, it's pretty-
divinity, everything shifts.
Yeah, powerful. And I just remembered one last thing. And this comes through Donna, but it was my experience as well. We've been looking to get rid of to not get rid of, but to figure out what we're going to do with this colonic unit, because I've been in healthcare and stuff, and we have this colonic unit in storage. And what are we going to do? We have to get rid of a few things. We have to sell them off or find a home for them. And lo and behold, we get a phone call from a physician that we know, and she calls us and she's asking us right after we raised this topic about what are we doing with that unit. I'd love to get my hands on it. So I said, okay. So I guess we got answers. We're done. We call her back up, and I said, let's have a conversation. Absolutely, yeah. If you want it, it's yours. So here we. So that was another little. Oh my God, we got to do something. We got to find some. We're not sure what to do with it. Well, let's just see what happens. And sure enough, it's going to be gone. So it's great. It's great.
That's not in the category of little.
Yeah.
That's in the category of magical.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And I'm saying these, Paul, for all of you listening, when you create these, not to minimize them and put them in a small category. They're amazing, no matter what they are. It's like, oh, I am powerful. I can manifest, and it can be instant, and it can be on application of anything. That's a big difference than hiding in a corner full of anxiety because you don't know what to do. Okay, so, and when you think about how the ego had you twisted, the tail all in a bundle there, not even wanting to call your son. How far removed is that, Paul?
Oh yeah, it's night and day.
Yes, and you damn well better have this written somewhere.
Oh yeah, I've got it all written down.
Okay, awesome.
I got my first journal in my life. This is the first journal I've had in my whole life.
Good for you. Good for you, bud. Good for you. And that's
So I've got
important.
yeah, I was just gonna say, I've got a whole other lifetime now to live. Got
Yeah,
lots
you
to
do.
write about.
Yeah, yeah, a whole new lifetime. Oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
Superman living in Greece.
Yeah. So that's really, really important, what I just said to Paul. These are divine pieces that you're creating, whatever they are. Like, I called someone yesterday, a client. I just happened to call them. Said, oh boy, do I need this call? Like it was like, how did you know? How did you know? And those are like, okay, so we're in tune with the divine, all of that. So it's like giving your this credit for this recognition of this totally different way of living in the world, in the 3D world. And when we're at these higher levels, the rules are all different. It's all different. It's like there's this guy that travels the world. And every time I call him, he says, yeah, I was just thinking of you, Don. Like he's in India, like that kind of thing. And it's like us becoming aware of how we operate at such high levels. It's different than that slugfest of the 3D world at 200. Okay. Totally different. Totally different. The synchronicities. And they happen more and more and more frequently because it's a flow. It's a flow. So
Yeah, it's like the 3D realm, the 200 is like Paul having to go and ask a billion people about where to get this power cord and this and that. But whenever you're operating at these higher levels, he's just like walking and he's like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Without having to actually think about it. He just was internally guided. Okay, he had no clue. He hasn't lived in Greece his whole life. It's been a few months, right? And so he just knew where he needed to be at the exact same time as he's passing there. And that happens like literally every day, like multiple times a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
it's all day, every day, actually. Like,
one of the things I do a lot, I walk in malls because I just get to see people and say hi, and it's kind of spreading the light. And it's amazing. It's the people coming up just, and they just say these little sentences. It's like, and so that's what it is that connecting, and the synchronicities that are not at a 3D level. It's like, yeah, you need a phone to call to find out if they're there. And in this case, it's like, oh, wow, I was just thinking of you. That kind of thing. Big difference.
Can I share?
Yeah.
So last night I had another dream. I was in the astral school again, and I was in a classroom learning how to sing. And once the singing finished up, it was a beautiful, it was interesting because it was actually a supervisor when I was in the military. Some really awesome. He was very, like, I remembered him being a really good role model, kind of. So it brought it up, but this time he was singing, so I was just like, what the heck? I would never thought I'd see you ever sing. Like, you sing like an angel, bro. And all of a sudden, it changed differently because I don't know how the conversation went, but all of a sudden I was like, they're like, oh no, you don't have wings. And I was like, actually, I do have wings. And I like took off my shirt, and I kid you not, like I could see how my wings started to like unfold itself and then went all the way down. And then they're like, nah, that's not real. Wait, that looks kind of real. And then and then they go, no, that's not real, trying to throw all that fake doubt on me. And then all of a sudden, I guess I fell into the doubt. I felt into, because they were just all badgering me, shaming me, mocking me. And then all of a sudden I looked down on the desk, and then I noticed that the wings that I had on me had disappeared, and they were actually on the table, and they looked like toy wings. Like one that you would buy like at a store, and it just had like, the tag on it. And I was just like, okay, that was kind of strange. But I actually did the interpretation on it. The singing part was a gift coming in, another gift. I keep getting a lot of gift dreams interpretations. But the second part about me having the wing, it was also another beautiful meaning to it. But then when I was doubting it, and then my rings got ripped off and actually put onto the table, it was telling me intuitively, it said, don't allow other people's external doubts and fears get to you. And the crazy thing is, as soon as I woke up in the morning, I reached out to a friend because he's at the hospital. He had an appendix thing taken care of, taken. And I was like, hey, bro, try this. It might help out with your pain. It helped me out with a lot of my pain. So maybe it can help alleviate some of that. And as soon as I sent it to him, he just started mocking me, just like the dream. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, did you get one of those purple jackets too? So does it cost? Let me guess, it costs money to come in." I was like, "Really?" Because it's been free for 2 months. And then I was just like, I got to the point where I was just like, this guy's just mocking me, mocking me. And I was like, you know what? I have all the faith in the world. You can hold all your questions if you like. Send me your email, and you can ask Don yourself personally. And it got quiet after that. Real quiet. So the next thing too that happened today was kind of strange. Outside of my fence of my property where I'm building the food forest, there's no reception outside of the gate. And I thought I had put the 5G on my phone so I can record the live. I kid you not, I was literally like 45, 50 feet away from where I'd had no reception, and it did the whole recording. And I didn't even realize it till I got back, and I'm just like, how is that even possible? Like, how
Exactly.
is that even possible? There's what? Like, I literally said that for like a good 3-4 minutes because I'm still just like, what? So somehow I was enhancing the signal that is not even present past the gate. But I was like, I went 45, 50 feet further away from it because I thought I was on the 5G. So I just thought that was kind of like mind blowing for me. And then I've been
Is
guided to learn about the huh?
kind of mind?
Oh,
Kind.
very mind blowing, incredibly mind blowing. And
Thank
that,
you.
yes. And I've been learning a lot about like the hierarchy. It's been guiding me to learn a lot about the hierarchy of angels. And I learned a lot of interesting things about the ones with the wheels, and the one with the spear inside the spear. It's crazy about the bowl, and that the bowl of our belly button. It's referring to that, like the same one that King Solomon had. He tried creating a physical version of it, and it looks like a bowl with a bunch of bulls in the bottom. And I was like, why would he put that? I was like, okay, so the bowl is the belly button, and then the bulls underneath refers to the Taurus, and the Taurus is like our torso or Taurus field. And I was just like mind blown, like when I was hearing about like the astral projecting, the silver string that's attached to our umbilical cord. I was like, it's not only our mother that gave birth to us, it's that really powerful being that's giving us all life through that cord. I was just like, I'm sorry, I was just like mind blown with a lot of that stuff. And I'm still getting a whole lot more downloads. So it's interesting. I'm really enjoying the process. I'm looking forward to other people who are learning kind of similar things, and just looking forward to a lot more people joining. That's the
Yeah,
goal.
for sure, Gilbert. Yeah, we're looking forward to a lot more joining too. And what these are, everybody, so you know, this is like after the fact of your transformation. Those things don't happen, or if they do, they're filled with doubt and all of these kind of things. But when it's the transformation, that's the explosion of whatever you're here on the planet to do, whatever that is, and everybody's got their own thing. And and to take whatever, to go wherever, to do whatever, to work with people, or to, you know, plant a garden in the graveyard, like whatever, you know. So, and you're right about the uh, the 3D, like around the 200 mark or whatever. They don't have a way of seeing, understanding, being aware of, whatever, and their role is to bring you down to their level, because they know they can't get, or they think they can't get up to where you're. And so they will splash you with doubt and second guessing and all of those kind of things.
That's kind of
That's,
heavy. Some
well,
heavy energy.
well,
Feels heavy.
not, don't take it on it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I kind of took it personal a little bit. Yeah. And I just went and did a divine focus and it faded away again. But
There,
yeah.
that's it right there, Gilbert. Divine
Yeah.
focus. No,
Yeah.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's how it's done. So, congrats.
Thank you.
Great share, Gilbert. So we got a couple of new people on tonight. You guys are probably like, what in the world are these guys talking about? Like, I have no clue. There's like all of this stuff going on. Like, it's not making any sense to me. One thing I'll say is it's what we're experiencing. All of the people that you've heard on the call today, whether it's Gilbert, whether it's Paul, whether it's myself or Don, or any of the other people that you'll probably hear tonight or today for us here in the Philippines, it's not on the level of the intellect. It's past that. And so to break it down simply, this young man right here,
Thank you.
very young, he's only getting younger by the day. Over the last 44 years, he's been gifted by the divine like bits and pieces of a process that helps people have instant and permanent transformations. Now you're probably like wondering, like, how does that work? And when I first heard about it, especially coming from like the personal development world where, you know, I read thousands of books. I've done like 3-day seminars, 4-day seminars, transformational workshops, leadership workshops, you know, the plant medicines, aka plant drugs, all of that stuff, right? I was like, how in the world is a instant and a permanent transformation possible? And so, to put it simply, actually, you know, I'm not going to do the talking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys a video that we created that Don did that's going to explain to you how this works. And so if you've been looking, no matter wherever you're looking, whether it's in religions or philosophy, spirituality, or anything else, I just want you to know that your search is over.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. My name is Don Smith. That's Don with 2 N's. And I'm here to share with you what I've developed over 44 years that I call IAMDIVINITY. I say that IAMDIVINITY because I'm divine and so are you. No matter what you've done and what you haven't done, you are divine, you always were and you always will be. And it gets all covered up. And so all of those trips to the personal developments and all of those things, and they don't hold. And did you ever question yourself instead of just going back and getting the next one and the next one and the next one and none of them hold? Well, there's a reason for that. A very big reason is because you're working at a belief level of who you think you are. That's what beliefs are, both negative and positive. They're who we think we are. So going from a negative belief to a positive belief is not the answer whatsoever. It's about the knowing of who we truly are. There's knowing. It isn't a belief. And so all of these ideas of doing this and all of those trips to the wherevers, it's like dealing with a piece of something. But this is not a piece of anything. This is the total knowing of who you are. And what I've developed over this 44 years is a process that's instant, and it's permanent. Now, the permanent comes in by you doing something for holding it. But I'm telling you, there's people have this for years, and it's instant. And how do I say that with such boldness? Well, put it in the category of a phobia. 90% of the population has a phobia of something. Bugs, snakes, rats, heights, water, whatever. And my question to you is, how long did it take for you to create that phobia? Yes, you're right. 1 instant. And yet everybody questions me about that. And yet that's all it took. 1 instant. So now what I did was I reverse engineered near-death experiences and phobias to find out how they worked, and I reverse engineered it. So if you can create a phobia in a second, and most times it's before the age of reason, which is 4, 5, 6. Think about that. At that young of an age, that in 1 second you created a lifetime phobia. Well, it's a lifetime phobia because you're holding on to it for protection. That's how the ego works. It's going to get you to hold on to something that's harmful for you so it can keep you aware in case it happens again. That's how toxic your ego is. And it's not your ego, it's the ego. Sorry, my mistake. Because you are much more than an ego. And so what it's about is if you create it in a second, why would it take any longer than a second to reverse it if you knew how you did it? That's what I do. That's one of the pieces. And then the other is the permanentness of it all. Well, I'm going to ask you a question. What color are your eyes? What color are those eyes of yours? Now you tell me how long you had that color. Yeah, your whole life. That's permanent. Would you agree? But look at the permanentness of a phobia. You had it from age 4 to 84. That's 80 years. You'd think that was permanent. But it was created in a second, and you can reverse it in a second. So it's not. That's what I'm saying. So that's what we're talking about. Something that's instant, something that's permanent, and it's about who you truly are. Your divinity, your divine. Don't ever forget it. Always remember it. And all of these other things are happening because you have an attachment to the personal development system of beliefs and changing a belief from a negative to a positive. It's not going to hold. It will not hold. Yes, there will be improvements. Congratulations on doing that. That's searching. But I'm talking about a shift from this to a shift from this. Who we're not to who we are. And then doing a simple exercise. Takes 5 minutes, 3 times a day to hold it. And there you have it. That's it. That's who you are. That's why it's like the color of your eyes. The color of your eyes has been that way all this time, and you still have that color. Well, it's the same. Who you truly are is permanent. Who your beliefs are not, because it's not true. No matter how much you believe, the negative or the positive about those beliefs, they're false. And so, I'm here to share with you to go on a journey under 2 hours. Now I'm talking about, like I've worked with 15 different pro athletes or Olympians, okay? That's just in sports. And then mega billionaires, millionaires, and health, cancer. You know, one guy, yeah, I met him in the garbage room in Vancouver. I opened up the door and there he is. And he's so gray and he's humped over and he's like, you think he was going to die any second. I said, holy shit, man, you don't look too good. What's going on? He said, oh, I got prostate cancer. I've had it for 16 months. I've had 32 radiation treatments. And I don't know how much time I have. I said, don't listen to that bullshit. Can I ask you a few questions? Within that 15 minutes, I had asked him all these questions. And all I knew about him was his name was Al. 3 weeks later, I get a call from him. This same guy. He said, "Hi, Don, this is Al Janik. I met you in the garbage room 3 weeks ago." "Yeah." "Well, I don't have any cancer." Now I could fill this room with those stories. Fill this room with those stories. And you can access this magnificent, powerful, divine energy called I Am Divinity. And what's natural about it, it matches who you truly are. That's the key. Isn't that exciting? Isn't that exciting that you will know who you are, and it will override and supersede who you think you are. Now, if you're tied up with that persona that you've developed, in a second, I might add, and kept it all this time, like I just worked with a guy that when he was 9, his mom died, and he decided to harden his heart. And he hardened his heart the next 40 years. And that's what all his issues were about. We went back, cleaned that up, boom, it's gone. All the symptoms were all gone. That's how easy it is, and that's how simple this is. So if you want to continue with your hard work and all of those kind of things, and going back and paying for this again, that again, and this again, and the counseling and the therapy and coaching and all of that, go ahead, by all means. But if you want to be free, free to be you, free to be who you truly are, and those eyes, every time you look in the mirror, it will remind you how magnificent you are. And that's how this process is about, whether it's in an individual or whether it's in group. And I welcome you to join us in this journey of raising humanity's consciousness from its existing 210 to 700. That's right, you heard it right. 210 to 700. So it's an awesome journey. We're looking for 100 that are willing to go to 700 to raise humanity's consciousness. So I welcome you, and I'll see you on our journey.
So, yeah, that's the overview of what we're doing here at I Am Divinity. It's unlike any other program that you've ever heard of, that I've ever heard of. I mean, I've been a part of, I can't even count how many programs, whether it's, the affiliate programs or network marketing or direct sales, or even just for my own benefit. There's nothing like this on the planet that we know of. And how awesome would it be for you to be one of those people that helps shift humanity to this ineffable state of consciousness, the 700. And just to put into perspective, the level 700 to 1,000, this is the state that we naturally are at, that we are supposed to be at. This is where like Jesus and Buddha and Muhammad and all of the great saints and prophets, and that's where they were at. And they knew this was our original state, and that being in this 3D world, this matrix, has, things have happened where we've been brought down to these lower levels of consciousness, but this is where we're supposed to be at. And so how awesome would it be for you to be one of those people that helps shift all of humanity? So I just want you to imagine being one of those people where
One of the 114.
one of the 114, that's all we need, 114 people holding the consciousness of 700 to 1,000, well, specifically 700,
Yeah.
because at 1,000 you're affecting more people. Because they say one person holding the vibration of 700 is counteracting 70 million people on planet Earth. So we did the math, right? 70 million times 114, that's the 8 billion that we need to completely shift. So imagine a world where there's no greed, there's no war, there's no famine, there's none of that stuff that exists here. Right now there's 20-something wars. I'm actually Palestinian, like this avatar is, at least. And you guys have heard of what's happening in Gaza and stuff. And for the longest, you don't know. I'll catch him up. It doesn't really matter though, to be honest. It's all the
Yeah.
same. Obviously there's a massacre happening right now. There's literally an entire ethnic population being genocided, and it has nothing to do with religion. It has everything to do with greed and resources and the ego. That's what it has to do with. And so none of that will exist if we are operating at this high level of consciousness as humanity. Because you cannot, there's no way that that's possible when you're operating at these higher levels. Because we are all connected. We are all connected. And whenever we see that, there's no way in hell you're gonna massacre people and do war for gain and for resources and all that. So you just imagine you being one of those 114. So we're excited. We have a really big mission. This is unlike anything that I've ever heard of. And Paul says, the last session with Dawn helped me to transform a big issue in my life, and the first time ever I am freed of it. Oh, this is Donna. Awesome.
That's Donna. That's Donna.
Donna,
That-
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So awesome, Donna. Super congrats.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Really?
took a lot.
What?
It actually, at first, when I expressed it to you, I felt rotten for like 2-3 days for having, being in front of people and exposing myself and what I felt and taking space and everything. Felt like crap
Yeah.
for 2 days. And so this morning I woke up and I went through that very uncomfortable, what I expressed with you, time in my life. And I pretended you were there beside me and asking me all these questions. And bit by bit, I got closer and closer to what I felt like as a child when I spoke up for myself and told a grandparent what had happened. And 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 of course she didn't believe me. And she told my grandfather, and then he shaved my hair off. He threw my bike in the garbage. He did all these horrible things so for ever since then, I really believed that this thing that I was standing up for and nobody was believing me, that it was my fault. But so I worked it through bit by bit. And then I saw that as a child, I felt like I couldn't understand why nobody would believe me because I was this very powerful little person who knew what was right and wrong and who knew the truth. And I couldn't understand how these grown-ups they couldn't. And so today, when I worked through it all, I realized that as children, we're born evolved. We are born remembering our power, what our essence is. And it was so difficult for me to believe that here are these two people presenting as grown-ups that didn't have didn't have that light within them. Because had they would have understood a child is not possible of those things that is being blamed for. So it was like, for the first time, I felt I can take space. I have a right to speak, to be seen, to be heard. And so if I hadn't gone through that process and feeling like crap for 2 days, and instead of going drinking wine or whatever, sat with it and worked with it, I wouldn't have come to this. So this is big for me. It's actually created all the doubt when people that you expect to protect you and care for you don't believe you. And then you see them in their essence that they were just not evolved. They weren't. That sometimes you could be a kid and more grown up than the adults around you.
Exactly.
So that's it. That's
That's amazing, Donna. Super congrats.
it was amazing. Thank you.
Like you're sitting behind Paul, letting him do all the talking. You be this piece of mold on a wall. And
Piece of mold, yes.
yeah. Yes. Okay. And then finally stepping in your power. And here you are. I can't recall exactly what you said in this chat, but it was something about how powerful you are. Well, you're married to Superman. Okay? Okay? So he doesn't know that you're more powerful than him. Yet.
Oh.
I yield. I yield.
Smart
You know
move,
what else
Paul.
it does? This all brings back to the power you felt as a child. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
And you were
this
never
brings back-
without it. You were
No.
never without it. You always had it. You just never used it.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Well, you used it, but just for the wrong things.
Well, you used ego. You used the ego energy, which is
Mhm.
not, it's force.
Yeah.
That's the ego uses force, divinity is power. And all I'm saying is you attracted Paul because of his power, even though he wasn't using it. And he attracted you because of your power, even though you weren't using it. And now it's time for the both of you to use your power. How amazing is that? Done.
Yeah, very amazing. And how we attracted you too. Like we were brought here. There's something in our spirit and soul new. I mean, it was a really roundabout way how we found you. But I've been always wanting this. So that made me realize how powerful I am to attract this whole situation and someone to help in such a way that's so simple. Really.
Well, and both of you need to congratulate yourselves on how open you were, let go of all the skepticism, let go of all the questioning, and how is that possible, and all of those kind of things. So super congrats on that.
Thank you. Okay.
You guys did that. Okay.
Thank
Superman
you, Gilbert.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Your cape.
Matching capes.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share that and take some space.
Yeah. Well, you did. You did it gracefully.
Amen.
What
I love
spaces
it.
do you want, Donna?
Super congrats.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
and once again, this is about what it's like after you've taken the process, after you've had an experience of some sort. Now you start stepping into that power. And I am called to share what happened yesterday. Even though I disagree, but I follow what I so not going to argue with God. And anyway, so I had been called, guided to a level way beyond 1,000. Now, just to even say those words is absolutely ridiculous. When Dr. Hawkins is talking about getting people from, 200 to 220 or whatever, how long it took to go from 200 to 210, I think it was.
Yeah.
And how long that process was, like years upon years upon years, 200 to 210. And what are we talking about? 1,000 and above. Like, does that make any sense? Any sense? And then, like, and so, anyway, one of the things that those around me, like the Sams and the Wills and the Jamies and the Ninas, recognizes it's almost like a tear in my eye all the time. It's like I'm crying. It's not that, but that's what it looks like, And there's this extreme sensitivity to the whole world, to the outside world, to what's going on. And I'm not using this. I'm just it's just that energy coming in type thing. and reading it and seeing it and experiencing it and whatever. So anyway, okay, okay, so there's a chart. There's the chart, the one that's 12 or
The chart above the chart.
chart above the chart. Once again, what I'm going to say to you, yeah, everybody say, okay, that's a cult. Yeah, that's got to be a cult, like what that guy's talking about. You know, and I hear stories of them locking people up and, you know, those kind of things. So, we're just waiting for this chart to come. Okay, here we go. So in this, it's like enlightenment's at 600, you know, in the other chart, it says 700, but 700 plus. Now, 700 is pretty staggering when you think about people going from 200 to 210 in a lifetime. So 10 points in a whole lifetime, 10 points. So what I'm going to say does not make any sense. It's kind of like when you first heard what, like Sam was saying, instant transformation. Like, tell me how many people say, oh yeah, I mean, that happens all the time. Like, has anybody ever said that?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. But when you explain how a phobia works and that it's instant, remember there was one day I talked, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, not to try to describe the process, to not even think about describing the process, because it's not going to make sense. So you need to use metaphors and stories. Okay, metaphors and stories. And like, you know, one that just keeps coming back, it's like the Michelangelo and the Statue of David. You know, and what he said was, when he was asked how did he create such a magnificent statue, he said it was simple. All I did was carve away all the marble that wasn't David. That's literally the process. All of the negative beliefs that aren't you, all the positive beliefs that aren't you, and you're left with the knowing of who you are. That's it. Does that make sense? Like, how difficult is that?
Not at all.
Okay. So that's what I'm talking about. And I'm talking about, you know, how long you had this. Well, same amount of time you had your eyes, whatever color they are. So anyway, that's why I'm saying enlightenment 600 to 700, la, 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 I am. And then it gets higher and higher. And Christ, Buddha, Krishna, and so on at 1,000 plus. Well, I've been working at, I'll say 10,000. And there's some amazing things happening for me. And one of the things is this softness and this gentleness and this, you know, almost like tears about to fall type thing. And a client, someone that had taken my process, called me yesterday. And last night, actually, 3 o'clock in the morning, actually, for him. And he was literally crying. You know, he didn't know what was going on. He was so sensitive and all of these things. And he didn't know what to do. And none of it made sense. And it went on and on and on. And the ego had him thinking that there was something really wrong with him. And that he had him recalling all of his negative events, how he hurt his wife, how he hurt his kids, and like, you know, his ego energy, and what that was like for whatever number of years. Okay, so ego had him. Are we still on?
I think we're on with the camera.
Okay, so so here he was. By the time he got the call, he called me. Here he was ripping himself to shreds, literally ripping himself to shreds for all of these wrong things. And that's one of the biggest pieces once you take the process, is recognizing the tricks of the ego. Because it's going to do everything it can to get you out of your light. Everything it can to get you out of your light, because it knows it's going down. It's going down. You know, so like, I got to get him back in the dark, or her, whatever that is. And so I said, well, bud, do you really want to know? Do you really want to know what's going on for you? And he said, yeah, okay. Well, you've gone to such a high level of consciousness, man, that your light is shining so much. And look at all the things that you've done with your family. And I got him to pick each one instead of how he harmed them. It was like, okay, now since you did the transformation, how have you treated your wife? How did you treat your son? How did you treat your 3 girls? And how do you treat your 2-year-old, like 2-year young? And he got it. And it was like, here he is at such a high level. And he said, yeah, I'm so soft, you know, and sensitive, and like, I feel like crying. And I said, well, you know, there's your sensitivity that you hid for 45 years. You never allowed your sensitivity to be out there where it could get hurt, like it did when you were a little tiny little baby and you covered it all up. Well, it's not covered up anymore. It's your beautiful, divine, radiant light. That's what it is. And now make a decision to not allow the ego to trick you and pull you, suck you back into blaming yourself for all the things you did in the ego energy. And he just made this, it was just like that, it was over. It's like, oh my God, I've never felt like this before, ever in my whole life. Well, that's you. That's you. And that was well above 1,000. Think about that. From the start of the call, with all the negativity, the ego had him down over under 200. And he went over 1,000. Amazing. So yeah, you could put that in the cult category, I guess, if, you know. It's not an everyday thing. Not an everyday thing at all. So anyway, it was, I will say that I was in tears watching him process at that high level. Really was. It's like this gift to me to see that. So, there you go.
Yeah, I the other day when I went to go visit I'll just say it, my girlfriend, her family, like my heart was just like vibrating so hard, and like I was just like feeling everything, like the dog, like the little babies, and interestingly enough, is like before then, I mean, I definitely didn't have, I mean, I've always had that sensitivity, but it's, I mean,
Yeah.
like you want to talk about empath, you just like literally just feel the connection between all things, and it's like there's just a beauty behind like every little moment, every interaction, you know, it's just like this divine beauty. And you wouldn't even want to, you can't even imagine hurting anyone or anything, you know. And before, you know, when I was still stuck in the ego energy, I didn't care. Didn't care about the consequences. And that was because there was that sensitivity wasn't there. There was a block around the heart. And so, yeah, it's just indescribable.
And that's how the ego works. See, it gets you to do something that you deem your heart being hurt, and you close your heart, and then you hurt people, then you beat yourself up because you hurt people because you know that's not right. And it just gets layers and layers and layers and layers and layers that is concrete, covering that beautiful heart that we have. And we've heard me sharing, you know, it was like a war zone in our house. A war zone in our house. Like there was fist fights and brass knuckles and chairs flying and butcher knives, and like it was, you know, that was in our house.
The place you're supposed to be safe.
Yeah, yeah. Space you're supposed to be safe, and it wasn't. So then we walked through life with all this guardedness, these layers and layers and layers and layers of metaphorical concrete to cover up our soft, sensitive hearts. Imagine that.
But the power you get from that softness is just indescribable as well. Like the protection that you're putting around your heart is actually keeping you weak. That's the interesting thing.
Yeah. 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 So anyway, it's awesome to, it takes a bit to get used to, for sure, to walk anywhere with anyone. I mean, Jamie and I, we went to 158 cities in 14 countries in 9 months. And we walked in the worst of the worst. Like, you went where? You what? In the ghetto? Like, that's the ghetto, man. You know, we walked right in the middle of it, and saying hi to everybody, and waving, and I was dressed in purples and pinks, and nothing ever happened. Nothing ever happened.
It's not like you were trying to blend in.
Yeah, no, that wasn't it. Yeah. So that ego does all the guarding.
Well, can we see what these comments are?
Yeah, and the lady, I want to find out the lady.
Nada.
Nate, are you there? I saw your name.
Yes, I'm here every night.
Okay, I'm curious as to how you got along since you did that work on yourself.
There I am, purple, me. Good,
Computer up on the
good.
screen.
I have life buzzing around me with attitudes, but myself, I'm good. I'm better. Pain that I was living with from arthritis is lessening every day.
Yeah.
And I feel I'm keeping my divinity more and more.
Yeah.
I have.
Okay, so just on that, so more and more, I'm just going to question you. Do you remember the highest level you had
Yes.
holding your light?
Oh, in my whole life, or just that night that you helped me through?
No. Since we were on the call, like when this all happened and you got into your light. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay.
I
And
watch it over and over again.
Okay. And how close are you to that?
I'm not right in there right now, but every day I last longer and longer.
Is that 50%, 80%, 20%?
80%.
Okay. And you know what 100 feels like?
Oh, you're muted.
Who?
Nada's muted.
Okay.
There I am.
So
Okay.
you remember what 100 looks like, feels like, correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what's stopping you from being there?
Gee. Actually, when I'm on this call, I get it back. Just through the day, worries and fears, I let it go sometimes. Well, quite often. Trying to get things done and work with children. One's in prison, one's a drug addict with 3 children, and we have all those tensions. And I have a hard time keeping my divinity around that. Although I'm, that's just, I feel I want to be just in divinity when I'm talking and playing with my grandkids.
Okay, so all I'm saying is this. That's you in that state of divinity. You're meant to be in it all the time. To not
Yeah.
let not allow an external, no matter who or what it is, to take you out.
Right.
So may I suggest when you are around those energy fields to visualize you holding the light with your children, your grandchildren, or whatever that was you said, sorry. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you need
I'm
to
getting,
do.
I'm actually today there was issues with my daughter, and I was proud of myself because instead of reacting with the ego, I told her I was proud of her, that she's on the right path, getting things done and not fighting her over what obviously was her ego trying to stop a good moment.
Okay, I just wanted to know how you were doing with that. So awesome, you're on the right track.
Thank you.
Okay, know this. Your highest level that you created, you need to be in that all the time. And recognize when you're out, no matter what that trigger is, whether it's whatever, is to come back and come back and come back. Okay?
Yes.
So
Yep. That's why I'm on the calls.
super congrats. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you for having these calls.
Yeah.
And thank you, everybody else, Donna and Paul and all the other people who share,
Yeah,
because everybody
Yep.
is helped, all of us.
Yeah, it is very powerful, and it's not meant for one person at all.
Yeah.
So, well done. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for noticing me.
Awesome. Great job, Nada.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sam.
You're very welcome.
Bye,
So
everybody. I'm here.
so let's see what time it is. It is 11:30. This
And the
still no
Yeah.
update yet, so
Yeah.
still working on that. I think it was his day off yesterday, so
okay.
we
Right.
don't have days off, but I guess our developers do. So for all the new people, what we'll do is maybe you're wondering about like because we do have a partner program as well where you can, it's really this simple: holding your light, staying in your divinity, and getting paid for it. We have instant transformations, and very soon here we're gonna have instant pay. So we have a video that our CEO filmed. We filmed of him explaining this whole like platform and our community and all the different aspects. So we have obviously our CDO, our Chief Divinity Officer, Mr. Don, He's responsible for helping you guys have the instant transformation piece. And we also have the Forex fund and we have the crypto fund. So we just got word from the guy that's trading our crypto fund. Just one of his picks, one of his coins is up 240% over the last couple months. I talked about this yesterday. Like most traditional banks, you're gonna put your money in
1 to 2%.
yeah, like 1%, even sometimes less than 1% for the year. We're talking about 240% over the last couple of months. And it's like over
Kind of like, what do you mean instant transformation?
yeah, like it's
I've been in personal development now for 28 years. You
gotta grow. You need to do a 12-month program just to elevate 2 points. But yeah,
the same
level
comparison. Yeah.
We have the best of the best, and we're not saying that like out of ego. We just know that there's really like I think someone said, and maybe you have an answer for this. I think it was LK. He said, like who's at your level of consciousness? Would the Dalai Lama be one of them?
Oh yeah. That was who was that? Who was
I think it's LK.
Yeah, but I was trying to remember who.
Oh, the story of the guy that called you.
Yeah. As on this one. You mentioned it. Not sure about when our next one is, so
Yeah, well,
yeah.
as he's trying to figure out who the person that called him is, I'll answer. We're figuring out when we're gonna have the next live instant transformation process. We'll discuss with Don here.
Well, actually, what it was, we didn't do the last one because of what was going on, but we decided that what Jamie does is on the 7th.
What is he doing?
Well, what he did the last time, whatever he did, he I don't know what it's called. Okay, don't know that. All I know is it happened on the 7th of February.
What was it?
7th and 22nd.
And that was what he does on the 7th, and what I do is the 22nd. So I didn't do it on the 22nd because of where we were at. So, and that's what the next one is the actual transformation is on the 22nd.
I see. So 7th is for the new people, 22nd is for the
Transformation.
Okay, so
Good.
we'll do it this March 22nd.
Yes, correct.
Okay, perfect. So
And I'm guessing that Jamie will be doing the 7th one on the 7th. What he does.
interesting, because his birthday's on the 7th and your birthday's on the 22nd. I see what y'all did there.
Yeah. That way I can remember. Yeah. What date was that? Like, Don, I told you 4 times. I know, but what date was it? So I can remember my birthday.
Well, Tiffany says Don is doing both. So I guess he volunteered you to do both.
Oh, he said, no, that cannot be true. You don't want me, you don't want me talking about the money thing and all of that.
Well, I think they're saying that there's a transformation piece for the new people.
Yeah.
And then a holding process, like another transformation for the existing people on the 22nd. We'll confirm with Jamie.
Okay.
And we'll send out an email just to confirm all that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tiffany. Someone's paying attention. Thank you. We should know this, but thank you for your
Well,
support.
to be honest, I don't know.
He just shows up. And it's all in the moment. So
Yeah.
we just let him know ahead of time.
I will honestly say that I have difficulty operating in the 3D world and remembering things and
Tiffany, show up on the 7th.
You'll have to tell me a couple of times before that happens.
Paul says my birthday's the 22nd. Oh, it's Donna.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 22nd.
Awesome.
So anyway, yeah, that's what it's about, is the actual, transformation and then holding, transformation and holding. And very few can just have the transformation and hold it and not do anything else. That's where the divine focus comes in. That's where the exercises come in to hold it and recall the event and all of those. That's what that is. And what it is a neurocellular muscle that you use to just keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger, because what will happen is that the ego will push on anything weak, whatever that is. It'll just keep pushing on your weakness, something like, oh yeah, I didn't look at this. Well, the ego's going to get you to look at this, whatever that this is. That's how it does it. It knows what your triggers are. The ego does. And it throws a ton of things at you right after you do the process, trying to get you out right away.
Yep.
Yeah, that 24 hours is like, yeah. Now what happens, it's, they're on a certain high for, say, 2 or 3 days. Then it'll wait till that subsides, and then it'll go after you on the weakness. So remember, the ego's not your friend, and it's not who you are, as much as you might think. It's not who you are, and it will use you or anyone you love, or if there's something that you didn't look at or anything like that, it will use that, because its main objective is to get you out of your light, because it is not able to survive in light. It is no different than the sun coming up. It's no different than that. There's no darkness when the sun is out. There isn't. And so the ego is the darkness, the blackness, the negative, the noticing what's wrong. And that was the biggest thing for me, is noticing what's wrong, and then throwing the next piece out, which is thinking the worst about what's wrong. Notice what's wrong, think the worst. That's the ego at its finest. That's it. Like, it's perfected that program. It has literally perfected it, and it's going to do everything it can to get you, first of all, notice what's wrong, and then think the worst about it. Yeah, that's what it does. So it's like, when you can laugh at it, when you can recall instantly your divine focus state, that one where your highest, like right now, I'm going to ask everybody, right now at this instant, go to your most powerful light moment. Whichever one it was, doesn't matter, just go to it. That one's like, wow, what just happened? Good. What was that like? How did you do that? How quickly did you do that? How strong was that compared to the first time? Anybody? Comments?
Instant.
Okay.
Instant and powerful.
Instant and powerful. Correct? Is that what I heard? That was
Correct.
immediate. Okay, Gilbert. Yeah. Like the agents from the Matrix.
Exactly.
Okay. It was immediate. Paul and Donna, immediate. LK, awesome. Now, that's your natural state. The ego, Shannon, immediate. That's how powerful you are. That's how powerful you are. That didn't take 3 days or a month. It was immediate. And what you did was you brought your attention to your light. Boom, there it is. There it is right there. Okay. So that's what we're talking about here. That's what we're talking about, is being able to access that. And the ego doesn't want you there. It's like, you know, on the opposite, the ego is like trying to get you to put your hand on a hot stove, bare hand. Whereas the light is getting it so hot that the ego evaporates. It's like a snowball. And it's like you're putting that snowball, the ego, on a red hot stove. It's goes and it's gone. So that's the difference. And so you were able to get that immediately. That's what you're to do at any time the ego tries to mess around with you. You don't argue with it. You don't question it. It's, oh, did I miss something? Like the person last night. Yeah, I think I did something wrong. Yeah, here I am. I'm beating myself up because of all the harm that I caused my wife and children. Yeah, nada, bud. Remember and boom, there he goes back. Just like that. And that's it. That's how this works. Okay. You don't argue. You don't question. No. It's like you remember, just like you just did, immediately, you and your light. That's it. The ego tried to get me to buy this software that I had not heard about. It had been a beta. Way to go, Eric. Way to go, Eric. Yeah. So there was something here the other day I saw where the iPhone
Oh,
the iPhone was dropped by 90% by Google or whoever.
Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah. That they were dropping the price of iPhones by 80 or 90%. I forget what it was. And there was like a iPhone 15. And it was wanting to get rid of all the access. And then told Sam about it, and he found it was a scam. Yeah, so yeah. Anyway, so that is the ego. That's the ego. Gets, you know, millions of people buying this fake iPhone 15. So it'll use everything and anything that's important to you. That's how it'll get it. It knows what's important to you, and it will use what's important to you to trigger you. Yeah.
And get you out of your light. That's the only objective, no matter how it looks like. So
yeah. With
that being said, obviously, you know, when we say instant and permanent transformation, this goes over a lot of people's just being, they don't recognize that this is even possible, especially coming from like the personal development realm, which a lot of the people that hop on these calls are probably from that arena. They got to work hard at it and read the books and do all the seminars and workshops and all that stuff. So
and growing.
This isn't a growing kind of process. It's just like you guys just experienced it. It's instant. And so we have the best of the best process. And we don't say that from a level of like, you know, bragging or whatever. But to show us another process that takes you to this level of consciousness instantly. I've never heard of it. And if I would have, I probably would have taken it.
You wouldn't have been ready because you weren't even ready when you showed up.
That's true. That is true.
So there is a a necessity of being ready. And I ask a few questions at the start. And if there's some reason, it's like, yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. Another time. But so just because you want it for somebody, you know, doesn't mean they're ready for it. You know, I have someone close to me right now going through that same process. And hey, not much I can do other than, you know, just throw a few daggers at the heart to wake them up, you know. So doing it, being ready for it, and a willingness is the big piece. And to even become aware. And lots of times you can say all these things and tell people, and it just goes right over their head. Why? Because they're not ready. They're not ready. You know, those of you that found this so far and talk to others, you probably find that if the 40 people you talk to, maybe 3 or 5 are, oh, that sounds interesting. Wow, what? Serious? And the others say, yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit. You don't believe that, do you?
You're definitely in a cult.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So that's the difference. The ego is the ultimate scammer, right on, you guys. Yeah, it is. And it's got you hypnotized. Just like it had, was it Paul, Superman?
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul. And it has everybody, you know, hoodwinked and thinking that whatever that is, in his case, the I can't remember the story, but anyway, that's its job to make you believe it's not possible, or if you got it, that won't last. It's a scam. Those kind of things.
Or you're gonna have to sacrifice all of these. You're not gonna be able to live life like.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You can't eat rice. You can't. You're gonna have to give up your whole life if you want to. So here, you're gonna have this ultimate ineffable feeling of just, it's just indescribable. But it's scamming you into thinking that all of the pain and misery that you've had your whole life is better. Like that is the ultimate scammer. Like,
well, I'm just going to be straight with you to give you an idea. This all started for me by quitting drinking, and how I came to go about quitting drinking was we were at a Christmas party, my wife and I, all across town. This was in Calgary. And at midnight, I was getting wasted. And at midnight, she said that I was making a fool of myself. Let's go home. There's free booze here, and I'm not leaving till it's gone. Okay, this was at midnight. At 2 o'clock in the morning, still drinking away, I threw her the keys and said, okay, honey, let's go. You drive. She said, no, you don't handle your liquor, you drive, and threw them back at me. I said, okay, bitch, let's go. And so away across Calgary we went in my truck, and screaming and yelling and hitting each other. I'm driving, one hand, and I hardly see. And, you know, could have easily killed 28 people on the way. And I got back, I got the next morning, and the kids get up, screamed and yelled at them, told them to get back to bed, and just like all of the opposites of what I ever would want, you know, in a family, a wife and children. And that next morning, I was sitting at the kitchen table, and this is what it took me to say yes. I'm sitting at the kitchen table, and I'm thinking, okay, my neighbor Finley has a shotgun in his garage. I'm going to go get that shotgun, and I'm blowing this thing off the top of my neck. That is where I got to. That is what it took for me to say, there's something wrong here. Okay? Or something that needs to get fixed. And what happened was, you know, my sister, my wife said, "Why don't you call Peter?" Peter was my brother-in-law who had been in AA for 5 years. And I was in so much pain. The last thing I wanted was to call Peter to find out about AA. Like, that was not anything I wanted to do. Okay? But out of the guilt and the shame that was like 20 rail cars thick, I said, okay. And that's how I started this process 44 years ago. Okay? So I had all of that to clean up. And so I'm saying it's like sometimes it takes a lot, depending on the ego, and mine was gigantic, absolutely gigantic. And all the ego is the covering up of our light. That's what the ego is. And all that cover is the ego. That's it. The guilt, the shame, the not good enoughs, the not worthies, the non-deservings, and no one loves me. I'm going to hell. I'm evil. Like it just goes on and on and on and on. And that's the ego. And what this is about is crashing through that. Crashing through that and saying, okay. So all I'm saying is that's what it took me to say, oh, there's a light? Is there somewhere? Yeah. That was it. That was the train wreck. That was the train wreck for me. So there you have it.
Yep. That was that's crazy to think about. You in the previous lifetime, you probably would have been pretty fun to party with.
Yeah, I was.
Now we just have divine parties. Way better.
Yeah,
Way better.
yeah.
But yeah, I've been through plenty of train wrecks myself, so I totally understand. And yeah, the pain is definitely there to help us realize that there is a light, no matter what you've done, what you haven't done.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're happy to share this with all the right people that are willing. And
Well, the willing, it's when you say the right, it's the ones that are ready is what that is, the ready people.
And the surrender piece, that was huge for me, like ready to surrender. I didn't know how to surrender.
Well, and it was the going to blow my head off was my surrender.
Yeah.
That's what it took.
Yeah.
Like, so
you get to that point, it's like I'm willing to do anything.
no,
surrender to do.
No, it was no. The last thing I wanted to do was surrender. Okay, it wasn't. Oh, I think I'll surrender. No, it's like, so anyway. The point I'm making is how extreme it can be for some to say, I'm willing. I'm willing to entertain or look at or whatever. And so there you have.
So just to close out the call, what we're going to do is we're going to play a video. It's going to just give you an overview of what I Am Divinity is all about. You've heard, every day we're here talking about different stories. Other people are sharing their stories, their transformations. You're hearing, different experiences of Don himself, people that he's helped, myself and other people. We want you to experience it. And then we also have other aspects to this. So everyone that's in the community, they have access to our financial vehicles where you can actually generate passive income hands-free. So we're gonna play this video, and after the video is finished, the call will be complete. So we'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Philippines time, 9 p.m. Eastern. And if you have any questions, or if you want to get into the crypto fund, can you put the support email actually below so they can just email if someone has any specific questions? We will start the daily onboarding calls once the membership is live, or the affiliate program, partner program is live. So if you have any questions, or any concerns, just email support@IAMDIVINITY.io. And with that being said, enjoy this video that we created. Is it mine? Sorry guys, one moment.
Over. Hi there, my name is Jamie Devine. Welcome to I Am Divinity. I'm super excited for you to embark on this journey. Just congratulations for even finding I Am Divinity. My journey has been over 16 years of personal development, spiritual programs, multiple religions. I've been an entrepreneur since the age of 13. I never had a regular job. And so going through all of that, showing up to Don Smith 4 years ago to take his instant and permanent transformation, first of all, sounded a little hard to believe because I had done so much work and I still had all my shit. I was still an alcoholic, a weed addict, a narcissist. My financial gains in business and investing would shoot up and then cut right down and start over, shoot up, cut right down, and I could never hold my success. Going through his program, it was about 2 hours. All of my toxic patterns and programs were completely gone. Literally just gone in a second. And I can't even describe how liberating that moment was for me. But right after that, I told Don, I said, I don't want to do any of the business that I'm currently doing. I woke up to my purpose for coming to the planet. When Don told me his vision of raising humanity's consciousness to the level of 700 on the scale, enlightenment, which was the cause of all causes. The level of consciousness is the cause of all of our individual and collective problems on the planet. And so to finally have that solution, experiencing that solution for myself, I just wanted to tell everyone and anyone that would listen. And of course, with all my entrepreneur background and my skills in marketing, I made an agreement with Don so that I could just, literally my job would be to hold my light and share my light with others and bring them to the process and actually get compensated for it. And so I'm super excited to announce that we've now created this entire system for you too. Now imagine that, being able to go through this instant and permanent transformation for yourself, be liberated of all your toxic patterns and programs, literally within a couple hours. And then on top of that, being able to have all your financial fuel and energy and livelihood come from this divine system. And so there's a few pieces to it. Number one, we have an affiliate partnership program. So you're a partner. Your job is to hold your light, share your light, and anyone that's attracted to it, bring them to the program, and we pay out 30% of all the financial part of the system to you. That's the first part. The second part is my experience in the financial realm took me into Forex and crypto over the last 10 years. And I've been through all the roller coaster rides, all the ups and downs, all the scams and schemes. And we landed on just a couple people that were actually full of integrity and that have actually gone through the divinity process and that are like nothing else. So our Forex fund is ran by an institutional trader. And if you've ever done anything in the financial realm in Forex, 99% of the retail space, the average everyday person, it's a scam. It's a scheme. You're going to lose your money. Maybe you're one of the few that got in early and took the money from the others, but eventually it collapses. I've seen them come and go over the years. But this institutional trader, he has 7 years of experience, and we have his entire track record of his strategy. He has an algorithm. He spent over $20 million in development up to this point. And so even with all that being said, there's still no guarantees. Of course, when it comes to investing, please only risk what you can afford. But we found something that's more solid than I've ever experienced, and it's where our personal funds are. And so you'll have access to that as well. His team has produced over the last 7 years on average 50 to 60% per year on the funds. And you don't have to do anything. You open up the brokerage account, our team will help you do that, and you park your funds there like you would a bank account, and his algorithm trades on all of the accounts. And so we can expect a 50 to 60% if it's anything like the previous average. But again, all the past performance never guarantees anything in the future. Just please be mindful of that. And then the last piece is our crypto fund. Now the crypto fund is very time sensitive. So a good friend of mine, Josh, who's handling the crypto fund, he's become an expert at this stuff. That's all he does every day. He goes and researches the top legitimate projects in crypto. To give you an example, in 2021, which was the last crypto bull run, Josh on his personal portfolio did over 8,000% that year, 8,600 to be exact. And so this was a kid that was 21 at the time and had his life savings in crypto and became a millionaire over that year of investing. And so just this last year, Josh told me, hey, I'm gonna do what I did last bull run, but I'm gonna open it to a few friends and family. I said, Josh, no problem, I trust you. I sent him the funds for myself, and then I said, Josh, I want to open this up to our entire community. He said, well, I don't know if legally that's a little tough. I said, don't worry, I'll work on that. And we created Divine Markets, which is a legal entity to be able to facilitate this, both the Forex fund and the crypto fund. And so we overcame that, and Josh is exclusively handling all the crypto for our community. And his target for the next year is 1,000%, about a 10x on the funds. And again, there's absolutely no guarantees. Please only risk what you can afford to risk. And so that's it. That's the overview. It's pretty simple. You got the affiliate partnership program, which again is just going to share the financial part with you so that you can actually create a network and an income for yourself while holding your light and sharing your light. Which, by the way, going through this process, we wouldn't be able to pay you to not tell people about it, because you're just going to be radiating and people are going to be attracted to you. And so we just wanted to create a system where we're all partners in this to reach that goal of 114 superheroes of light that are holding this and shifting humanity's consciousness. And so I welcome you to be a part of that vision and mission and part of our team. And I'm excited for you to go through your process. By the way, all of this financial part is only exclusively available to those of you that have gone through the process and committed to that. So it's not going to be available to anyone else. So what a bonus, what a reward for accessing your light and holding it, that you get access to an institutional trading fund that you wouldn't be able to get access to unless you had $250,000 and you're an accredited investor and all those things that the institutions look for. So we created a bridge for you on that. And the crypto fund, unless you know someone like Josh, and even if you did, it's not cheap or easy to get involved with those things. But we've made it easy for those of you that go through this process. It's a $500 minimum on the Forex fund, $500 minimum on the crypto fund. So that's it. I'm excited for you, and we'll see you on the other side.